Hello. Looks like I forgot to clean my camera again. So let me fix that. There we go. That's better. I really should just get in the habit of doing that before I hit the go live button. But do I do crochet or knit? Yes, but those are hobbies that I don't intend to monetize. So I don't share them on my channel. So. All right. I had a full cup of water and then I reached to grab this book so I could show you guys what I'm planning on changing the Vanellope project to, and I spilled half of it, and I'm like really hoping that nothing is like super important in that pile of papers, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, I figured today we would kind of just sit down and chat. I have been doing a lot of thinking in the past week. So for those who are new here, hi, welcome. I typically have my content planned out about 6 months in advance, and I like to be about 3 months ahead on my videos. So like I'm currently working on videos for late September, early October. We're looking at that time frame. So I work really far ahead. It's how I appease the anxiety gods. So with that, I have started planning content for next year. You should get a bottle. This is the first time I have spilled water in like a year. It's the first time. Usually I'm really good with my cups, but not today. I just put it in the wrong spot. It should have been on my table. Anyway, okay, so I'm planning content for next year, which I feel like we'll talk about. Let's get through. I kind of thought, since, you know, it is halfway through July, right? I don't even know what today's date is. My phone will tell me. Okay, so it's like the 3rd week of July. That makes sense because the Fabric Mart video got posted. By the way, I can show you the dress now. I totally put this dress on Claire just so that way, I didn't know where I would set up today, so I didn't know if like Claire would be in frame or not, and I'm like, if she's in frame, let's put the princess dress on her. So that's actually a great, I am everywhere today. Okay, I wanted to talk about the goals that I set at the beginning of the year, kind of like give you guys a progress report on those, and then talk about content. So that's where we will start. So let's actually start with the princess dress. I'll slide you guys back over so you can look at her while we're talking. We're like on very opposite ends of this frame with my wonderful fan in the middle. Okay, so the princess dress. I am super glad that all of you guys really liked the princess dress. It was a lot of fun to make. It was so hard to keep it a secret. But I'm so glad that it was so well received. It is the best performing video on my channel. The only video that did better was the costume Secret Santa. Well, the only comparable video on my channel is the costume Secret Santa one, and that was a big collab with a lot of people. And so it makes sense that that one did well, but like this one just like did it on its own, and I'm like super happy, and I'm glad you all love it. I have sold a couple of the patterns for it, which has been really awesome to see you guys like love it so much that you want to make your own, and it's just been really great. So one of my friends that I sent pictures to ahead of time came up to me and was just like, you need to find a real place to wear that, like not just for a photo shoot, like you need to wear this dress somewhere. I'm like, I don't go to modern events, so I don't know what to tell you guys, but I'm super happy that you guys really like her, because I really like her. I do want to make more modern garments in the future, especially really fancy modern garments like that one, and we'll talk about that later on, because I have plans for content for next year and I'm really kind of excited about them. But yeah. Let's see. I said we'd talk about the goals let's do that next week. Let's do a goal review next week so that way I can plan for it. And like go in depth with like all the goals and where we're standing with that. That's not something I feel like I want to do like off the cuff. So, oh, you guys are comments. I have the pattern already. I'm gonna make her similar but simpler for work. Oh, I'm so excited. Tag me in those photos. I want to see your simplified version. I want to do a simplified version for my birthday dress next year. But it's not gonna be simplified. I have plans. It's gonna be really awesome. So I love your channel. Your voice is so calming. It helps me relax. Oh, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I can help you do that. So now I'm worried I got water on my book. I think it's because I got some on my dress and it's making my book feel damp, but it's not. Okay. Okay. So talked about the princess dress. So let's talk about Vanellope. I have a KoFi set up. It is not in the description yet. I need to go through all my videos and update the description so that way they have all of the information in them. But it's Scraps and Sequins, same across all platforms that I use. So you can find me there. I have the KoFi set up. We are going to need about $100 to like fund the Vanellope coat because it's now going to be a coat. And so let's talk about that a little bit and why I decided to switch gears. So if you guys don't know, I play with the Society for Creative Anachronism. It's a historical reenactment recreation group. Last weekend in my local region, I should say, because area is smaller, but region, we had what's called a crown tournament where basically people fight to be king through the right of arms. And so it's just a day full of like pageantry and to look really pretty and like to do like just to hang out. It was the first big event that we have had post-pandemic. I mean, we're still mid-pandemic, but we're like on the first big event that we've had in like a year and a half. Oh, excuse me. So part of that was one of our friends was fighting to become king. He didn't, and that's fine. He'll try again another time. But part of that was because of all the pageantry, I wanted to dress up and look really nice, and the Spanish gown that I made last fall, which I have a series for on my channel if you want to go look at that, hadn't seen an event yet, and so I knew that I wanted to wear the Spanish gown. One of my friends who was getting recognized for something wanted a nice fancy dress for that event too, so I had two of my dresses, one that I was wearing and one that a friend was wearing, running around the event on Saturday. And it was so gratifying, rewarding, like I don't know how to put this, to hear people talk about my work. I have been gatekept a lot in certain communities because of my work. I have been told that I will never actually get to like the high skill level because of my work. And like it's been really hard for me to find joy in my historical, specifically Renaissance sewing. So to hear all of those like positive affirmations, let's not let this book fall, about my work and about how spectacular it was, just made me feel really good, and it made me find that love for Renaissance clothing again. And so I got home from the event and I was really thinking about it, and this Vanellope Bustle idea is a lot of fun, but it was making me incredibly anxious because it's a new time period and I wanted to do it right, but I didn't know how to do it right. But when I got home, I was just like, you know, I have a brown kirtle that would work for Vanellope. I'm like, what if we made a coat to go over it? And I could make this coat in like the turquoise jade color and then line it with pink, and then I could put all of the sweets on it that I was planning on doing for like the Bustle overskirt, like all of those sweets I could put on the coat. Something else is the coat also has a hood, which like fits with the hoodie idea for Vanellope, right? And I'm like, the more I think about this idea, the more excited I get. So an estimated cost for all of the materials for that is about $100. I have a goal set up on KoFi for that. So if you want to throw money at this project, you can throw money at this project, and it'll just help fund it. But yeah, like I'm actually kind of excited about this now. So, all right, reading some comments. Your videos and content. Pluses sewing helps keep my anxiety monster at bay. Oh, I'm glad I can help you with that. You're awesome. Those folks are foolish for saying such things. I was talking to a friend at the event about that, about like how I was finding my love for this again because of all the positive comments I was getting, and told her why I was like feeling the way that I was. And she looked at me and she's just like, who was it? I'm gonna go cut them. Like, you do not deserve those comments. So it was really nice. So seriously, people were being mean. Your dresses are awesome. You should be proud of them. Yeah, I think I just made a couple people jealous, and I think that's what it was. So I'll donate, but it'll have to wait. By all means, do not feel like you have to donate. This dress is, this Vanellope project is on my list. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of timing, and so like if you want to see it happen sooner rather than later, like feel free to throw money at it. It's not a requirement. It's not something I expect from any of you. People have wanted to know how to better support me and my content, and that is definitely one way to do it. I'm just providing options and seeing what happens. So, love your friend's attitude. I do too. She's really great. She's gonna help me figure out how to do some fancy things. So, yeah. All right. So, yes, like look, it's gonna have a hood. And then I've made one of these before, and it is super comfy. So I'm actually hoping that I can make it out of some super comfortable, like at least lined with linen, and then like it'll be a really good like fun jacket to wear. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys that, so that way you knew what the Vanellope project was transitioning into. And like I'm super excited about it. I think it'll be a really fun like historical cosplay. So, all right. Next thing, Scrappy Patterns. I'm not going to lie, I am getting burnt out on pattern making. I have been procrastinating all week making a sample for one of the patterns because I'm just not feeling it. I've told myself that tonight's the night. I will sew the sample tonight. It'll get done. But I think I've decided that I need to stop forcing myself to do projects when I just really don't want to do them. Excuse me. Took a drink of water and now I have to burp. And so I am probably going to slow down incredibly on the Scrappy Patterns, just because it's something that I want to do long term, and it's something that I want to provide for you guys, so that way you can have like fun, easy sewing projects for your wardrobes, and like all of this. Like I have so many goals with Scrappy Patterns, but I can't keep producing 6 to 7 patterns every 3 months. That is not sustainable for me. I already feel very burnt out. So like I have 2 samples for the fall pattern line done, but I don't have like them gridded or instructions written up or anything, and I've had those samples done for 2 months now. So like this is just a sign to me of like, okay, I'm getting burnt out. Let's put things on pause. As I get things more finalized and things working better, I'll start coming out with patterns. I'll probably do it like what I did with the princess dress and just release the pattern with the video because I work so far ahead on my videos, and then I can just like do that. If you guys follow me on Instagram, the Star Wars dress that I posted in my feed today and I talked about in my stories a couple days ago maybe, that's gonna get a pattern, but it's I don't know, because I'm gonna use that pattern for that dress, and then I want to make another like casual day dress, and then I want to use that same pattern for the burgundy floral dress, but it's gonna look different at the burgundy floral dress. I'm trying to figure everything out, and how do I like space things out so it's sustainable and I don't get burnt out. Well, yeah, I'm getting burnt out with Scrappy Patterns. I mean, it's been fun producing like 13 patterns in 6 months has been crazy to me. Well, that's a lie. I didn't start in January. I started doing the patterns in because April was the first release, and so it would have been March. So I started doing it in March. So it's been March, April, May, June, July, 5 months. I've done 13 patterns. That's not sustainable. We're gonna slow down. I don't think that's something that you guys will incredibly care about. I just wanted to like set expectations. So, reading comments. Gatekeeping is a problem in all communities. I think I have to do a lot of anti-gatekeeping in my Viking reenactment group. Good for you. Like, anti-gatekeeping is hard. There are many who will try to gatekeep and tell that we should make stuff better, but they are so damn loud. Yeah. It's one of those things where, yeah. I've been sewing for like 20 years at this point, because like I started sewing when I was 8, so it's been about 20 years. And like my quality of work has just improved, and like I really think for me it was I made people jealous, and they didn't like that I was producing the type of work that I was producing. So they found little things to nitpick and like really just wore me down with their nitpicking. But yeah, don't apologize. You don't have to put out so many patterns in a relatively short time. Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. I just want to set that boundary. I do think that doing a pattern a month is doable. That would mean that like all the work that I put into 5 months would actually be spread out over a year. So I think I'm going to start focusing on that from now on. I do want to get that shirt pattern out to you guys. And I'll probably put out the pant pattern, and I'll probably put out this vest, but they'll come in like months instead of like all at once, I think. So maybe it'll be like first Thursday. I can tell you guys like what pattern I'm putting out this month and show you the sample. That might be what it turns into. So yeah. Okay, so we already talked about KoFi and how I set that up. I am also in the process of reworking my Patreon. Just so that way, like if you guys want to, instead of just like throwing money at a single project, if you just want to like support my channel long term, that is also an option. And so I'm reworking it so that way I will give you guys a Patreon exclusive video every month, whether it's just like a sit down and chat, like how am I doing, or like a here's a project I filmed like just for you guys. That's what I'm thinking about doing, like a monthly Patreon exclusive video. And then I have different tiers. Like the second tier would be like voting. So as there gets to be more patrons and like Patreon can fund specific projects, like more voting on there, or even just like voting on like what project do we take to KoFi to get crowdfunded next. I definitely want to like build more of a community over on Patreon. And then one of the tiers will be a pattern of the month club, where I'll just put up a pattern for a month, and then just cycle through all of the scrappy patterns. So that would be a good option if like you want to support the channel long term, but don't necessarily want to like buy all the patterns at once. And then I'll just have like a high tier for like people who really want it, because all my friends apparently have people who are just like, you should make a higher tier so I can like give you more money. And so that's what my 4th tier is going to be. So I'm in the process of reworking that and figuring out all of the logistics and like putting that into my plans and my schedule. So I mean, Patreon's live. If like any of that sounds good to you, then like feel free to like wander over there. I do have a link to that in the description. So I love your style and we'll try the patterns. They are my wish list. I'm looking forward to getting there. Yeah. For expectation purposes, all of the patterns are one size and they are gridded. So you'll need to scale them up and then adjust them to your personal size. So unless you happen to be my measurements, then you won't need to adjust them. But I do consider myself fairly average sized. So, and that's like a lot of the feedback that I've gotten is that people are either really close to my measurements or like I feel like I'm in the range between like a plus size and like a standard size, if that makes sense. I've always considered myself kind of in that range. So it would give you room to be able to adjust and scale and whatnot. Let's see, combining the patterns and videos sounds like a good idea. Putting one out at a time is good. You can always make capsule wardrobes with either patterns too. Yeah, so I want to, the lookbooks that I've been doing have been incredibly fun. I definitely want to keep doing them. And I have built a good enough, like, sorry, there's an itchy spot in the back of my head. I think I have a bug bite back there. Oh, gross. Okay. I have enough patterns now where I'm just like, okay, so if I wanted to do like a Hobbit themed lookbook, what patterns could I use, and then what patterns would I need to make that a thing? And it's definitely things that I've been like, things like that I've been thinking about. And so we'll probably see like a couple repeats of patterns and things as I work on like specifically themed projects, which is kind of exciting because it's this like built-in promotion for Scrappy Patterns. So I'm going to keep scratching the back of my head. It's just going to be what it is. All right. Cool. All right. Do you guys have any like comments, questions, concerns about anything that I have said so far? I am running out of water because I spilled it. I also have goldfish because I needed a snack, and we got goldfish for the event on Saturday, and so we had some left over. It's been a good snack. All right, future project plans. Oh, using your patterns for more stuff is awesome. I'm so glad that you're so happy and smiling today. Yeah, I actually have energy today. And I like talking about like shop. I like talking shop, and I feel like I don't get to talk shop enough in my life. Because the husband, like, he's supportive, but he doesn't really care for like all the fine details. And a lot of my friends are just like, yeah, I don't understand what you're talking about. Because they're supportive, but again, they like the fine details I don't care about. But you guys seem to really respond when I like fill you in on like everything going on in my head. So I like talking shop. Okay, so I have, with everything on the whiteboard currently, except for the pink, like, future projects thing, I have content through the end of 2021. I also have started filming, excuse me, I've started filming for the 12 Days of Jomas, so I want to put out 12 days in December. Not 12 days, 12 videos in December, and I think I have about half of them filmed, and the other half are going to be fairly easy to film. They're not all going to be sewing videos. I have a candy making vlog with my mom. What else do I have? I have one sewing video. I think I have a video where like I'm knitting a nesting box for Joe, and it's just like a casual little vlog. I want to do like makeup look. I want to do a hairstyling video. And then I think I'm going to do one more sewing video, but most of it's going to be making Christmas decorations for the studio, and we're going to decorate the studio, and it's going to be fun. So just a lot of like Christmas holiday themed things we're going to throw into this. So that's going to be the 12 days of Joe-Miss. I am super excited. So yeah, congrats on having all of 2021 done. It's not done, it is planned. I'm hoping by the end of October it'll be done. So I love seeing someone talk about something they love. So shop talk is good. Okay. Yeah, so all of 2021 is planned, and I'm hoping by the end of October all of that content will be done. And then I'll move on to 2022 content, which will be a lot more of like filling out pieces for my wardrobe, like this pattern dress stuff. I have a video on it, not this one specifically, but I've been living in this pattern, and I decided I needed one in every color. So if you guys see me wearing this style of dress a lot, especially during the summer, it's because I actually really like it. It's quickly become my favorite thing to wear. So I have the purple one, I have one with the, that's pink with red mushrooms on it. I have, oh, of course I just knocked my bobbins everywhere. I have this green one that I've been working on, which I think is super cute because I love the gardening stuff. Anyway, it's just the exact same dress. And then I have one in like another fabric I have cut out somewhere on this floor. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, if you guys see this dress, that's why I'm obsessed with it. When the cotton flannel starts going on sale, probably gonna make a couple in cotton flannel for the winter. Wear what you love. I intend to. Okay, what were we talking about? Future projects. So I think with this new excitement of like refinding my love for Italian Ren clothing, I've had this brain weasel in the back of my head for a while. You guys, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I really like Eleanor de Toledo's wardrobe, especially in her portraiture. I mean, that's the only place that we really see her, other than her burial gown. Point. I have it in my head that I want to make all of her gowns that we have in portraiture. I think that's 6 gowns. This would include the Crimson Pisa dress, which is not confirmed to be hers, but it is believed to be either hers or one of her ladies. So, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I have looked into options on like what would it be to embroider the designs, what it would be to paint them, what would it be to like just get them printed. I'll probably do a combination of all of that. But these projects are expensive, and so I'm not going to be able to do them like back to back to back. But it is a plan on like maybe just starting to do this like every other, nope, that's a lie. They also take forever to build, so a court dress like that can take me 4 to 6 months to build. It's not something that I can do weekly content on because it takes forever to work. There's a point to this. So that's something that I want to work on. Another thing that I really want to do with like the modern fantasy dresses is I was talking to my best friend, and I'm just like, hey, what if I made a fantasy dress based on like all 12 of the Greek gods? So that might be happening. Again, they're going to be probably expensive because That's a lot of materials, and that's a lot of, they're probably going to take like a month to build each. And I want to do them justice, and I want to like put actual effort into them. So they'll get like headpieces and like armor bits and like props. And so like the building of some of those like accessories will probably turn into Patreon exclusive videos. But then I'll keep the dress builds and the sewing stuff on my channel. So let's see. If you need embroidery, I have a hookup. I have a couple friends that do embroidery, and they'd be able to help me with it. So I love the Greek gods, but that in combination with your 6 Eleanor dresses, you are crazy ambitious. I mean, it was about this time last year when I started planning the Hobbit dress, which is still in timeout. It needs to get pulled out of timeout and worked on. I mean, I'm at the point with the Hobbit dress that I was with Italian Wren clothing until like last weekend. So I just look at it and I'm just not inspired. So all the goodies big builds can have, other little projects added throughout. Yeah, so I only plan on working on one big build at a time. I might do some overlap. So here's the thing about me. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to kick the tripod. I'm constantly working on 2 projects at a time, like constantly. I have the vest for Scrappy Patterns sample like cut out on my table, and I have this, right? Working on 2 projects at the same time allows me to be like, I'm not feeling this today, I'm gonna go work on something else, without feeling the guilt of feeling like I'm abandoning something. And when I work on big builds, I have to have a secondary project. I call them my bounce projects. Something that I can bounce to like de-stress or like percolate problems that I'm having with my build, and then I can bounce back to my big build. So those are just things that's going on. I do have a feeling that like once I perfect the fantasy dress block patterns, I can start just like cranking them out, because that would just be little tweaks in design or little tweaks in, or like changes in fabric. They're not going to be hugely vastly different from each other. But the Eleanor builds are like 90% hand sewn. Like the bodices are 100% hand sewn, and all of the details are hand appliqued on top of them. The only thing that's really machine sewn are like long seams. So that's why those take forever. Yes, this is why you don't burn out. Putting things in timeout is okay too. I mean, I put things in timeout. But yeah, I do have bounce projects so that way I don't burn out. Okay, so it's faded so much now, but I got a really nasty sunburn on Saturday, and it's gotten to the point where it's like itchy, so I keep like scratching that and whatever is itchy in the back of my head. I should have washed my hair this morning. Maybe that's part of it. It's been a couple days. So that's why I keep scratching myself. Like, anyway. Joe also decided he wanted snuggles last night, and he like curled up right here on top of my sunburn, and I haven't trimmed his claws in a while, so they were like digging into the sunburn. It was miserable. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of all of my big plans. So I hate the itchy phase after a sunburn. Me too. It's my first sunburn in like 3 years. Longer, I think. The last time I remember getting a sunburn was 2016. So it's been a while. It's like 5 years since the last time I remember getting burned. Yeah, but those are all of my big kind of plans. So, as I do patterns for the Greek god dresses, I plan on putting them out as patterns. The historical stuff isn't ever really my pattern because I have a book that I draft everything out of. I have multiple books that I use to like pattern draft, so it's not like I'm coming up with my own design. So those probably won't ever get that. Oh, okay. Thought for something next year as well, Italian Wren themed. I want to do history bounding versions for all of like the major shifts in fashion for like the 100 years in Florence that I study. So I study from the reign of Lorenzo the Magnificent to Cosimo, the first Duke of Tuscany, which is about 100 years. Like, I don't know why that's just so interesting to me. I think that's like, I think I really like that time period because it clearly showcases, the fashion showcases transitions in political power. And so that's part of why, and I love how it just transitioned from something so simple to something so grand. And I think it's that transition that originally caught my attention. And I'm still learning about all the politics and all of that. But I want to do history bounding versions of it. So like think T-length dresses with like modern style lines and darts and all of that. So those are projects that I want to do next year as well. So, I mean, we're just going to get Italian Wren and modern ball gowns next year. I feel like that's all my content is going to be. With the occasional like cottagecore stuff, right? Because that's obviously the direction of my modern wardrobe. But yeah. I'll do like other time periods. I don't know, I really love, like my time periods like really seem to be Florentine, Renaissance, Regency, Edwardian, and then like modern ball gown. That's a good space, right? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. I like vintagey stuff too. I like vintagey stuff. I feel like I'm just all over the place with what I like, but it really is, like those things are just highly romanticized in my mind. And those are like the most romantic periods, I guess, or what I consider the most romantic periods. And like film and TV probably has a lot to do with that. But yeah, that is everything I feel like I had to update you guys on. So, you guys got questions for me? We've got time to like answer questions and chat a bit if you want. I'm gonna drink some water and eat some goldfish. When we go to the movie, I've started like keeping the straws from our drinks, and it's been kind of fabulous to have straws. I feel like I'm drinking a lot more water. Anyway. Goldfish crackers. Do I have a favorite Greek god or goddess? So, not really. I feel like this concept really came about because I've started reading again. And I've been thinking about like series that I want to reread, and the Percy Jackson series is definitely one of them, and that's all Greek gods. And then I have been reading the Lore Olympus webcomic series, and that's all Greek gods. And like that's kind of where like this idea came from, to do like the Greek gods. I would say the current idea that I have that I'm the most excited about is probably Athena, but I think my idea for Athena is would be better suited for Aries. Because I want to do Athena because she's the goddess of like knowledge and wisdom and strategic warfare. And so for her, I think I want to focus more on the knowledge and wisdom. And then for Aries, I want to focus on war because he's just the god of war. So. Dip the goldfish in the water. That's the best snack I ate as a child. I like my goldfish to be crunchy. So, It's not for me. Like the idea though. Recently read Stephen Fry's books on Greek mythology. I really liked them. Okay. Underworld. It's another Hades Persephone's comic. I haven't, but I might look into that. Yeah, so that's kind of like where all the Greek god ideas came from. I did find a really pretty fabric for Zeus. It's just $10 a yard, so getting the yardage I would need for that, it's going to be at least 50, if not more. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure all of that out. What are your favorite Greek gods or goddesses? Have a soft spot for Hestia because of the, I don't even know if I pronounced her name right, because of the Percy Jackson books. I don't remember her in Percy Jackson. It has been probably at least a decade since I've read Percy Jackson. I need to go back and read it. But I also, Magnus Chase is the one that he did about like the Norse mythology. Like, I think that's really awesome. Oh, the idea that I have for Artemis is like super pretty because she's a goddess of the hunt, but she's also, so they're, Artemis and Apollo are siblings. So Apollo's all about the sun. So I actually have the fabric that I was going to make the gold suit out of, I actually want to use for Apollo. And then I want to do something like very silvery and sparkly for Artemis. I'm honestly really excited about it. Hades is my main man. I have a vague idea on what I'm going to do for Hades. I want to do the Hades photo shoot in a graveyard, like in the awkward moment after golden hour but before complete darkness. I don't know if I can get these photos to turn out well, but like that's when I want to do the photo shoot because he's the god of the dead. Anyway. Yes, I love her, goddess of the hunt and the moon. Yeah, so I really want like Apollo to be like gold and bright and like in your face. And I'll probably like do that, and then I want Artemis to just be very flowy and silver and like smooth silhouette is what I'm thinking about for Artemis. So yes, that shoot makes sense to me too. Perfect sense to me too, I think is what you tried to say. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off. Yeah. So, like, I have ideas for a couple of them. Like, I don't even know what to do for Hephaestus, I think is how you say his name. The one who's like the iron worker. But I have no idea what to do for him. I was thinking like overalls, but then I'm like, how do I make overalls and like that grungy coal worker? Steampunk. Ooh, if I went in a steampunk route. Okay, now I have ideas. See, you guys are helping. We're getting ideas. But yeah, like a steampunk route for that. I could do that because then that would be like a lot of gears and like all of that. So Hera is the goddess of fertility and marriage. So I'm wondering if Hera has like a specific symbol. So like Athena's symbol is the owl, which I really kind of want to like incorporate into her gown. And so I'm wondering if Hera has something. It's a peacock. Really? I can make a peacock gown for Hera? Okay, I'm gonna look into this. Okay, now that gives me ideas. Okay, that gives me ideas. Making a peacock gown for Hera would be gorgeous. No, I will look into it. Definitely will look into it. But yeah. Switching back to the Eleanor dresses. I've known that like there is a printed version. Like I can get a print of the pomegranate dress. So one of the most famous portraits of Eleanor de Toledo is when she's wearing her pomegranate dress, which is all of, like, it's a white satin gown with black embroidery and gold work on it, and it's just like in the shape of pomegranates. It's absolutely stunning. She's in the portrait with her second son, who I think is Giovanni. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the names of her children. Excuse me. But I do think that my first dress in the Eleanor series is going to be that pomegranate dress. I do have almost everything that I need for the Crimson Pizza dress except for the trim, but I would want to be able to pay my friend for the use of her embroidery machine, and I would need to either make or find the embroidery files. So that's going to be like, I have most of the materials for it, but I'm going to need to like get the money together to pay her for her work. So that's why that one's probably not going to be first. Whereas like the pomegranate dress, I can do everything on my own. So yeah, I think that's going to be the first one. It's going to be absolutely stunning. I'm so excited. I'm really excited about this idea of just like recreating all of her dresses and just having her closet. There's going to be some debate on the colors I choose for her burial gown, but I want to make it as close as I can to the research that I have found, and not necessarily like what other people's interpretation of it is. So a lot of the research that I have found for her burial gown, it says that when they dye tested the silk, it wasn't white, but that it was actually originally a sunflower yellow. And I'm pretty sure the velvet was originally brown, but it's like the dye has shifted to now be a black, which most people have interpreted as used to being crimson or black. Anyway, there's a whole lot of like whatever. But like just a bright cherry yellow dress with all of that embroidery and stuff on it just sounds so good to me. Anyway, like a bright yellow dress with gold embroidery, and the embroidery being backed on a like brown or like a dark crimson velvet. It just sounds so good to me. Anyway, you guys are all excited about like how I'm describing the burial gown. And then I'll wear it to an event and someone's gonna try to gatekeep me and be like, that's not what the gown looks like. And I'm like, well, what's your research? What research do you have that makes you think it looks that way? So it's like that internet dress all over again. Yeah. I just Googled a picture and it's stunning. Yeah, so that dress was what made me fall in love with Italian Renaissance to begin with. And then I found Morgan Donner's blog and saw that she was making these dresses, and I thought, well, if she's making them, then I can make them, but I need to get my skills together in order to make them. So it took about 7 years before I made my Ravenclaw dress, which I've posted recently on Instagram. If you guys want to look, it's that silver and blue one. So it took me about 7 years to make that dress, and now I'm just like, yeah, let's crank these dresses out. I mean, every 6 months or so. But yeah, future content. I love planning content, guys. It's like one of my favorite things. Like when I want to procrastinate, I will open up my content calendar and like rearrange things and like do all of that. So make a booklet with all of your references and just keep it handy for the gatekeepers. Yeah, I'll smack them over the head with it. No, I want to start teaching classes. So this is something I'm going to be doing completely off YouTube. I actually might do like transition some of the classes into videos for you guys. That's definitely something that I've thought of. More as like filler content as I'm doing all these big builds next year. And they would be things like how to make a supportive curl the correct way, because there's a lot of information out there on how to make supportive curls, but all they do is just compress the bust, but there's a way to get the support without the compression. And I want to teach you guys how to do that, like how to support your skirts, and like there's just a whole bunch of things that like I've learned as I've been making these dresses that I want to share, and a lot of like research and stuff. So I might start kind of an informational series along with these dress builds. So yes, teach a class, but if it's not here. So the classes that I would teach would be in the SCA and at events. I am toying with the idea, which my friend that I was talking about earlier that was like hyping me up about my dresses and like not listening to people, the naysayers, we were brainstorming about how I can teach people how to make these fancy court dresses, because a lot of people love them, but there's not a lot of people who like know how to make them, I guess. What it boils down to is I've noticed that there's like a knowledge gap, right, between seeing the pretty portrait and making the pretty dress. And so I want to help bridge that gap. And so if I could do like an all-day workshop at an event, I would like, we'd start with like what makes these dresses, how to make a basic body block, taking your body block and making a pattern from it, like just going through the stages of what it, like all the prep work of making these dresses. And then at the end it would be like, I might have to do it in 2 parts where we do like all of like the in-person patterning for one workshop, and then for another workshop we go through and make the dress in miniature. So similar to when I made the scale models of the burial gown and the crimson pisa gown for my 18-inch dolls, I would like sit down and we would go through like step by step in a class on how to like put all of it together. So the more I talk about it and the more I talk about it with you guys, the more I just really want to like make this a series on my channel to like guide you through how to do every step. So I might enlist some help from my friends and make a series on my channel as I'm doing like other big builds and things. So we'll see. But I also want to do like at events, I keep kicking the tripod, I'm sorry guys. At events I want to do like big day-long workshops where we can help people bridge this gap. And once you get a good body block, like that self-supportive kirtle, you can literally use that pattern for, when did fitted kirtles become a thing? 1300s? Excuse me. You can use that same pattern from the 1300s all the way to the supportive garments of like 1580s, 90s. I don't know past that because I don't research that. But like that spans 200 years of fashion where you can use the same pattern and then it's just fitting and adjusting and tweaking things as you need. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I want to do. Yeah. You guys seem really excited about like this possible like guided thing, which I didn't think there would be any interest for, but if there is, I will do it. Usually like the big dress build things. So let's talk about like building my channel for a moment. I'm planning these big dress builds because that's what like draws people in to like watching my channel. But I really want to just do like educational stuff and like teach you guys how to do things. But that doesn't bring in the draw that like big dress builds do. So I might try to figure out how to balance that next year and really just like bring you guys the most beneficial content I can. I mean, that's kind of my goal in general. So yeah. All right, we have a couple minutes left. Do you guys have any more questions? I'm gonna like catch up on comments. You guys were really chatty while I was monologuing. Cool. You guys just sound really excited about these possible how-to stuff. Oh, I also want to start including like more fitting tips and tricks in my videos because I've gotten a couple comments about that because I talked about it in the princess dress video, but I didn't really show you guys what I was seeing that made me think that I needed these alterations. So I want to start showing you guys more of that so you can get more comfortable like spotting what you need to spot to what's it called, fit your clothes better. So I mean, I have professional training in that. Like, if I could say I was a professional at a thing, I am a professional alteration specialist. That's like the only professional training I have. So let's like build on that. I can share my knowledge. So, any more comments on the last couple minutes? I love goldfish. They're so fun to eat. They just crunch. I'm gonna start a proper sewing course in September for fitting reasons. Good job. Like, learning how to fit is hard. And learning what all of the different stress lines mean and how to fix them, it's a thing. So, fitting tricks would be awesome. I have a sway back full bust. Ooh, that's like the hardest thing to fit. Huge hip spring. Girl, you've got a shape. I'm sure it's beautiful, but that's really hard to fit. I have a sway back, so I get the sway back thing. My natural body posture is that of an S-bend corset, so I get that. But it's really, the more you fit things to your body, the easier it is. So I can pattern things really easily for me because I know how I'm shaped. I can't pattern as easily for other people. It's part of why all the, what's it called? Part of why all of my patterns are one size and gridded right now, so. Fitting your shape though, that curvy of a shape, it really is all about dart placement and depth. That's what that is, so. My upper body and lower body are different sizes. Oh, I get those feels. Yeah, mine too. Yeah. All right. Mailman came around. All right. I'm going to try to force myself to get some actual work done today instead of just, you know, working on pretty dresses. No, I need to change my thread and get started on this pattern sample. And that is all I have for you guys. I don't know what Monday's video is. It's scheduled. It'll go when it goes. Yeah. That is all I have for you guys. I will see you guys on Monday for a new video. And we'll go live again on Thursday. I will review all the goals that I have back there. We will do an update, like a mid-year thing. What time is it where you are? Because it is 10 p.m. here and I'm going to sleep. I am on the Eastern time zone in the US. So it is afternoon, evening. When does it switch from afternoon to evening? I don't know. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. But that's what time it is. So, yeah. Next week, we will go over all the goals. We'll do like a mid-year update. And then, yeah. I'm like procrastinating getting off this because I don't want to do this pattern sample, but I will because I'm a responsible adult. Alright. Bye, guys.